Hi, this is a beginner's tutorial for crochet, and the first step is making a foundation chain, and we're going to learn the stitch double crochet. So to do this you'll need some double knitting yarn, just some acrylic. This is really inexpensive from supermarkets and hobby shops, and comes in loads of different colours, so choose a colour that's going to give you some joy. And you need a crochet hook of about 4mm. You can use a 3.5mm hook as well, but that works quite well with double knitting yarn, and particularly for things like granny blankets. And these are only a couple of pounds. You also need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. We haven't got the darning needle today because we won't be using it today. Okay, so to begin, you want to find the end of your yarn and make a slip knot. So just wrap the yarn around your fingers like that, and then use your hook to pull it back and through like that. Stuck there. And then just gently pull it into a not too tight a knot so that you can still manoeuvre the yarn. And then I make my loop this sort of size, big enough to fit 2 hooks in there, not bigger and not smaller because your work gets too tight. Then to hold the yarn, take your left hand, take the little finger and take the yarn round your little finger like that, and then up and over your middle finger and your index finger, and then grasp the knot that you've just made between your left thumb and forefinger. Your left hand will be holding the work for most of the time and tensioning the yarn. It's your right hand that's manoeuvring the hook, unlike knitting where you're using both hands to knit with. And then when you're in this position, you can use your hook to slide under the yarn and pull it back through that loop to create your first foundation chain. I'll show you that again. And when you do this, I go backwards underneath the yarn like that, as it helps you not to lose it. If you try and take it from this way, you can split the yarn, or sometimes it slips off on the way through. So if you just go underneath it and pull that through like that to create a chain, and that's 3 chains there. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So trying to keep your stitches smooth and even, same sort of size. So this side it looks like a plait. On the other side it's more bumpy. And to count your chain, because some patterns require quite a long chain, you count these bumps along the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you're making a very long chain, it might help to put markers in at intervals to help you remember where you've got up to. So now we're going to turn the work and work our double crochet coming back along this way. And we're going to work it into this 10th chain. But to turn it, we need to do an extra chain in order to bring the new row up to the right height. So I just mark that with my thumb. And I'll just rewrap my yarn. So I'm just going to mark it with my thumb. Do 1 more chain. Oops. And then we're going to work into this chain here. So we skip this one and work in the second chain from the hook. You disregard the loop on the hook when you're counting, because that isn't a proper stitch. It's just will get pulled through at the end of your work. So the second chain from the hook, 1, 2, insert your hook, yarn over and pull it through to the front. so that you've got 2 loops on your hook. Then you go back again, yarn over and pull it through those 2 loops, and that's a double crochet stitch. It's a US name for this stitch. It's a UK name for this stitch, apologies. The US term for it is a single crochet, but in the UK we call that double crochet. So the next stitch we're going to go into, we've been in here, we're going to go in the next bump underneath that just one loop, yarn over hook, pull it through to the front. You've got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over hook and pull it through both loops. Again, you can see where we've been in there, so we're going to go into this one here, this is number 3. Insert it into the chain, yarn over hook, pull it through to the front, yarn over hook and through those 2 loops, each time keeping it as loose as you can. So this is 4. 5. 6. And as I'm working, I move along, I move my thumb to as close to where I'm working as possible. If I'm holding it over here, it makes it really difficult to get in the right spot. So if you're holding right near where you're working, it's easier. I've forgotten where I was up to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. 9. 10. And the last one is just before this knot, 10. Then to turn the work, you need to chain 1 again. So just do a single chain. Then turn it over just by flipping it like that, and it looks like that on the back. Now, in order to make sure that we're working into the first stitch and not anything else, I sometimes turn the work to look along the top, where I can see what looks like a chain along the top, and we're going to insert our hook to do our first double crochet on this row under these 2 here. That goes in there. Yarn over hook, bring it through to the front, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over hook and pull it through those 2. Again, next stitch, there's a kind of natural dip you can go into, but you can always just turn it and check that you've got the 2 sides of that V on your hook. Yarn over hook, bring it through to the front, yarn over hook and pull it through those 2 loops. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And for the last stitch again, that looking at it from that way can, oh my gosh, where am I putting it in, you know, do I put it here? If If you just turn again your work on end, you can see where you've been in this stitch here. If you pull your yarn, and you can just see that V joined into it here. So you just go in here and here, that's your last stitch. Okay, 10. And then we do a chain to turn the work. So this is our first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again that 10th stitch, can you see how those two lines there, you're going on under there and you finish there, you ignore that turning chain. Chain 1, okay, so that's the back and this is the front. And then when you're doing a pattern, it's a good idea to run up a little swatch like this so that you can measure it and see how your tension compares to that of the pattern in order to get the pattern the right size.